So recently, Giuna made a video about a tweet by Tachikawa. If anyone doesn't know, Tachikawa, top 8 of all time tournament player for Dragon Ball FighterZ, and he was on Twitter asking, how do I turn off people from seeing my replays? He doesn't want people to see his replays when he's playing online. He thinks that it's better that fighting games give him the option to hide his replays. Okay? That being said, Giuna made a video about it called Pros and Cons of the Replay System. Look it up if you want to watch it. Basically, just considers the various reasons that he might say this. Because, Tachikawa, he put out this tweet, didn't really elaborate on it, as with most tweets. And that's just his opinion, right? So why would you do that? But I think that this perspective is not good for fighting games. And it goes against what we're about to do in this stream, right? I want to put a lot of emphasis on fighting games with replays, because a lot of other games already have replays and nobody questions them. Nobody thinks them this way. So for some reason, we're going to have to explain it like we're 5-year-olds and tell you why, we should not remove replays from fighting games. So basically what I'm saying here in the short thread is that it's a really bad idea, and we probably shouldn't be asking fighting game developers to be removing features from our game, because if you remove replays, then that's one less feature that your fighting game has, right? And as I mentioned here, to elaborate on why replays are important, you need to be able to understand your play more than just what you remember, right? Because if you remember things, what you're going to remember after a loss is probably the most crushing aspects. You might not remember what you did well. You might not remember the small interactions that are very important to winning a game. You might not really understand why you lost. There are situations, there are tech out there that you see and you just don't understand it. Now, in that situation, if the player that you're fighting has some really good hidden tech, then naturally they're at a huge advantage, and they're thinking to themselves, oh, this is great. I have this great unblockable setup. Nobody knows how to beat it. Nobody studies my character. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to get top 3 at every one of these tournaments because they don't know how to block this shit. But that mentality doesn't grow your game. You know what I mean? It's something, as an opinion, you can have it, right? You can have that opinion, but I don't think people should listen to it, frankly. I think that most top players aren't really doing this. I think this is kind of just Tachikawa's way to play, I guess. I mean, even, Sonic Fox, as I link here, the best Skullgirls player that exists to our knowledge, makes videos on his YouTube channel explaining to you how to block shit, right? Like, he is... I see this a lot. I see, Sonic Fox, I see Red Blade, I see a lot of Mortal Kombat players do this. They make video guides about how to beat their own shit. Like, you end up in a situation where the best thing you can do for yourself is to put it out there, somebody figures it out, and then you say, okay, how do I get over them again, right? That's part of evolving as a player. That's how the meta starts evolving, right? Once we've started, we put a layer on, and then another player comes by and he puts another layer on, and we go up the ladder until we've really figured out what this character can do in any situation. To answer the chat, Sonic Fox plays a lot of video games. He plays Mortal Kombat, Injustice. I believe he won Injustice Cups like a million times. Skullgirls, he loves Skullgirls. He's, an NPC in the game now. So, he puts all that stuff out there because he understands that at some point, if he does his, setup in front of other people, they're going to figure it out. So it's better to get it out of the way. It's better for you to expose it and say, alright, now how do we build layers on this? How do we construct a better meta? That way he learns, He learns from other people too. So yeah, just from a learning perspective, replays are really important. That's why we're going to go over these matches. Fight of Animals, unfortunately, doesn't have a replay system. I'd really like it. But, it's common for somebody to go back and watch tournament footage and just, go through the tapes and say, alright, this is interesting, this person did that, they made this mistake, they did that, that was good. So, why wouldn't we have that in the game, right? So, The other option was not removing replays, but being able to hide replays from your profile. You go into your privacy settings and you say, okay, hide my replays. But this creates a problem, right, with online games. Some games don't have spectator modes. They only have replay. Okay, I can name at least 2 games that do this, right? Street Fighter Cross Tekken, that game had spectator, but it's broken. But the competitive community for that game exists because of replays. Because what they do is they hold the tournament, right? Everyone plays online, right? If it were offline, it doesn't matter. Online, they play the game. And the way that they verify match results is that they can get the replays from all of the players. So they say, okay, let me download the replay from this player, from the other player. Now I have a whole replay for all of top 8. Now I can go and stream them. I can make sure they, reported their results correctly. It's a matter of competitive integrity, right? Getting rid of that would mean that if I say that I won, nobody has any proof. Now, you can say, okay, well, he can record his match, or he can record a replay of the last 30 seconds, Nintendo Switch, Xbox. I think Nintendo Switch, Xbox, and PS4 all do that. You can record the last 30 seconds. And Xbox Game Bar or whatever has that for Windows. But the game should have these things, right? It should have its own competitive integrity tools that you can look at. And perfect example was this video by Hook Gang God, I believe it was. I think it's Hook that made this video. And he, I'm just going to skip through it. What he finds out is that the #1 ranked player in Dragon Ball FighterZ is some dude that's botting. Right? Like, the #1 dude on the leaderboard, he's just botting. He's playing the same match against the other person over and over and over again, and he's winning every single one, so he's building up points. If I didn't have a replay system, I wouldn't know this, right? So we would have this whole competitive integrity issue where you would never know if somebody's doing that shit, right? I think there's no really reason to get rid of it, right? And there were other things on the table, right? Like, there's accounts on YouTube that just go through top players' replays and they upload them as their own content. Look, that's gonna happen no matter what, right? Like, people are gonna go into streams, they're gonna clip the stream, and they're gonna upload it on YouTube, and they're gonna make money off other creators' content. That's always gonna happen. So if we get rid of the entire feature, we didn't solve the problem, and we made it harder on everybody else. Don't do that, right? That's not a good reasoning. And there was an idea that, if the netcode is good, then you don't need replays, because then, the game works anyway, and you can just spectate. Well, here's a game with great netcode called Mortal Kombat 11, and it has replays, and it has very good replays. So, why would I, look, my general consensus on fighting game online features is that if Mortal Kombat has it, you should probably have it too, right? Mortal Kombat has literally everything. If you want a game that does everything right in terms of online, play Mortal Kombat. Play Injustice 2. All the same thing.